do so that I can share later. So, welcome, Guy. Thank you for coming. Can I ask if there's a specific reason why you showed up for this one this month, or was it just a matter of, oh, I remembered?
It's a matter of, oh, I saw it and thought about it, and perhaps also having just done a weekend with Ryan, Saturday and Sunday,
Yep,
an ego one, but where they were, he and Depeche going a bit deeper.
fantastic. Okay, so the theme of the month, the way I run these for you, Guy, because I'm not sure you've been to one of these before, and for anyone who's watching
I
this
think so.
later, is I have a theme of the month in my membership group. And so in the membership group, which is largely around the sounding for voice and connection to embody your voice, we also have a couple of coaching sessions a month in that. We use the theme as a focus. And so the theme for this month is harvest. And when it came to doing this webinar and Q&A session, I was like, oh, how do I make harvest into a topic? But actually, it's about how can you reap the rewards of being more vocally confident. And I always choose 3 different tools, techniques, or areas to explore. So the first one for this month for harvest is, if you think about reaping the rewards of being more vocally confident, one of the things that lots of people have issues with in one way, shape, form, or another, whether they are confident people like me, annoying, big, loud, out there, the strong one, our problem is very often asking for what we need, which is asking for help. Not so good at that. Or if people are more introverted, quieter, and then asking for what they need, like, for example, setting boundaries, saying no, asking for the clarification they need. So how can you harvest, how can you reap the rewards of being more vocally confident? And even if that confidence is in a confident person, that's the confidence to be vulnerable and say, you know what, I need some help here. So we reap the rewards when we ask for what we need, because we get what we need most of the time. When you ask for something with clarity in the right way, and that's where we use the whole voice method, very often you get a yes. And even if you don't get a yes, we can then adapt to, okay, well, what can we do to make this easier? So even if you get a flat no, there's still a possibility to then ask another question. So how can you ask for what you need? There's so much just even to this one little point, the tools and techniques that I use. So one of them is the whole voice method, which is a method I created with a client. I don't know how many years ago now, definitely pre-COVID, so probably about 5 years ago. And he was really stressed at work, really frustrated. There'd been changes. He had a new manager in his team who was 2 levels above him. His friend had been made a manager in a different way, and she was acting strangely. And my client was just really, for about 9 months, had been putting up with this stuff and getting more and more and more stressed by it, to the point that he was looking to leave his job. And when we worked together, it was actually for presentation confidence that this topic came up. And it's around how to have the challenging conversations. Very often when we need to ask for what we need, it then is connected to something emotional that we're not receiving, or emotional as in we are stressed and frustrated by it. So then having that conversation to ask for what we need becomes really difficult, becomes a challenging conversation, because we're feeling a little defensive or a little aggressive around it. And then we assume the conversation will become a conflict. And so we assume it's going to be a challenging conversation. So when I worked with this client, I worked through what I didn't know then was going to become the whole voice method. But I took him through a process. And what we did in the end was really get down to the nub of what he needed. because there were so many things. It was like, well, my boss does this and he ignores me, and I this and I that, and my other boss is just doesn't listen anymore, and this one, but I can't say anything because they're 2 levels above me, and if I say something I might get sacked, and it's impacting my relationship with my girlfriend, and I'm good at this job and I like this job, but I hate this job right now because I'm stressed. And we got down to what was the nub of everything, and it was, I just don't know where I stand anymore. And when we worked with that, we took all the other stuff away, because so often with these things, especially with asking for what we need, there's a whole load of things that we feel we need. Well, I need this and I need that and I need this and I need that. But always underneath it all, there is generally one thing that would make life easier if we knew. And so often, actually, in my experience, it is knowing where we stand. So often it's, I just need to know whether I'm here or I'm here. Because once we know where we stand, we can then make plans. We know where we're at. It's when we're in limbo that it's difficult. And so I said to him, I said, is that something you can take to your boss? Can you take, and we formulated a conversation, a sentence around it, which is part of what I do with my clients. And that sentence was something like, I'd like to go for a catch-up coffee. Since all the changes have happened in our team, I've got, there's some stuff I'd like some clarification on. Went for a coffee, and so we created that sentence, and then the sentence we used was, since the changes in the company, I'm feeling a bit lost. I just don't know where I stand anymore, and I was hoping you could help me know where that is. So rather than everything my client wanted to do, which was point fingers at this boss, point fingers at this manager, and go, you and you and you, and you do this to me, and you do that to me, and that boss does this to me, and la 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 la, and I feel this. It was none of that. Since the changes, I don't know where I stand anymore. I was hoping you could help me with that. At which point the manager goes, oh my God, I don't know where I stand either. About 3 years later, I called that client. I said, just, as a catch up, see how you're doing. He was still at that company that he was ready to leave. He's still in that manager's team. He got put on the fast track to promotion. He became that manager's right-hand man. He is so much happier in his work. He is happier in his relationship because he uses the whole voice method process in challenges with his relationship. So this is how we can reap the rewards of asking for what we need, because then we either know where we stand, or someone else knows that there's something that is required. So it's a hugely powerful element, and the whole voice method is amazing. I use it with so many of my clients, and if you want to know more about that, please do ask me, or you can take a look on my website events page, because I've got a 1-day whole voice method workshop happening at the end of November. So if you're interested in that, go and have a look there. Welcome, Susie. Lovely to see you. We've just covered part 1 of today, which was of the reaping the rewards, reaping your harvest of being more vocally confident. And that tool and technique I was talking about is asking for what you need. Keeping it simple is the key. Finding out what lies underneath, and then setting boundaries. There are a whole other heap of tools I have for this as well. So let me just share a couple. If, for example, asking for what you need is about you need to be burdened less, or you need more time, then that's about setting boundaries. A really great structure for that is, if you want to be able to say no without saying no, because lots of my lovely clients hate saying no, it is this. So you can say, I can do that, like in the time we have, I can either do this or do that. Which would you prefer? And that's a way of asking for what you need, because what you need is less work. So you're reducing your work by giving that person the option. Or you could say, yes, that can be done if I have, and then you set the boundary of how much time. If I have 3 more days, 3 more weeks, it will take X number of hours. So that's another way to ask for what you need in a really simple form. So I hope you find those useful, and then you can reap the rewards because you will have more time, more space, less burden, whatever it is. So the second point that we're going to do, are there any questions while we're there about asking for what you need, firstly?
Not questions. I might relate one story on boundaries elsewhere.
Okay. Well, we might have time for that in the Q&A section afterwards. So what I do is I share, so the structure of this is I share a little bit. If there's a direct question, I'll answer that now, but if not, then we have a Q&A session at the end. So reaping the rewards, reaping your harvest of more vocal confidence. And for just to that point, the asking for what you need for those who are the strong one or generally outwardly confident and asking for what you need is help, then it's simply a matter of allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And when you do that, when you ask for help, you reap the rewards. It takes a lot of confidence to say, actually, right now, I can't do all of this on my own. And so for that, for those people like me, hi Kezabel, who tend to be seen as quite big, quite bold, loud, confident, and the strong one, if you're needing to ask for help, then allow yourself to take a step back and look at and visualize how much easier it will be. And if you're on, and be honest with yourself. It's like, actually, do you want to do it all on your own? And the biggest challenge for those people tends to be trusting others. So in that case, be really specific with the help that you need. Again, set the time boundaries, set the expectations. So point 2 is reaping the rewards of more vocal confidence and reaping your harvest when you speak about yourself or your business with confidence. There's such a harvest to be had when you start putting yourself out there. And this tool or technique I will share for this element is about what I just said, which is imagining what it is that will happen as a result of when you are speaking about yourself with more confidence, especially people who are employed and going to interviews. You know, for example, that's I have a lot of people who that tends to be their situation. If you're self-employed and you're speaking about your business, whether that's networking, whether that's online, whether that is running events, workshops, showing up on other people's podcasts, allowing yourself to remember that confidence is not arrogance. So if you're afraid that saying, this is who I am and I'm really good at what I do, is going to be perceived by others as arrogant, you're more likely to subconsciously apologize for yourself when you're speaking. So it might be like, oh yeah, this is my name's Judith, and I'm a vocal confidence and communication specialist and a voice vibration, sound and chakra energy healer. And can you hear how in my voice there's just a little questioning inflection, there's little upward inflections that sound a little bit like a question at the end, as opposed to, hi, I'm Judith, and I am a vocal confidence and communication specialist and voice vibration, sound, energy practitioner. It's solid. It goes to the end of the sentence and there's a full stop. So when you're speaking about yourself with confidence, it doesn't have to be arrogant. Arrogance is, hi, I'm Judith, and I'm a vocal confidence and communication specialist and voice vibration, sound and chakra energy healer. And in my voice, you can tell there's almost a little downward inflection. It's like I'm talking down to you. The tone of the voice is all up here. And the pace of it is like, well, and don't ask me any questions because you're going to waste my time. But so if you're afraid of appearing arrogant, then remember, arrogant people aren't afraid of appearing arrogant. They don't even think about it. So you're not going to come across as arrogant. But if you're afraid of being or sounding more confident, then the likelihood is you will sound like you're questioning yourself. And the rewards, the harvest of being able to speak about yourself with confidence, with solidity, with a full stop at the end of your statements, rather than an upward inflection or a question mark. In the theatre world, we call it speaking to the end of the sentence, rather than dropping off or going up. The rewards are that you will sound like you are speaking the truth. And it's just a statement. It's a fact. So whether this is a job interview, and I have loads of my clients who come to me for feeling more confident about themselves, for promotions or a new job, or for speaking about your business, allowing yourself to be solid in that. And to be solid, you need to know what you are good at and not be ashamed of it or embarrassed about it. It's as simple as, well, as simple as that. But that is the tool I share with you for this, for speaking about yourself with confidence, because it's about being grounded, centered. I speak a lot about, and Susie's just spent 3 days with me on my 3-day sounding retreat. And we spoke a lot when we were working on the throat energy center. Excuse me, I've been talking all day today. And just rushed home. So my breath is a little out there. We spoke a lot about the elements of truth. And there's something I talk about a lot, especially working with people on their business message, is finding the deepest truth business message. But you can use this if you're employed as well. Like, what is the deepest truth? What is the solid reason or belief of the good that what you do does? So for my business, it is when you liberate your voice, you will liberate your life. Full stop. End of story. It is solid. It gives me a really strong base to work from because I know that is true. So when you have that deepest truth, it gives you a really solid base. When you have a higher purpose, a big energy to work towards, something you would love to change, something you would love to create, whether you are employed or self-employed. So for me, it is to positively impact the lives of more than 100 million people by creating more confident, connected communicators. That's big. So when those two things meet in me, in the center, in my heart, when I speak from that place of passion, purpose, importance, and truth. A deeper truth, a higher purpose, a higher truth. And that gives both solidity and energy to your voice. So the tools, the techniques I want to share with you for this are the questions. What is important to me about this? What is the change it makes? And what is the positive impact? So what is important to me about this? Because you need to know, believe, feel, trust that it's important to you. What is the change it makes? And what is the impact? The positive impact. Wasn't going to assume there, but we need to trust that that is a positive impact. So to speak about yourself with more confidence, speak about your business with more confidence, ask yourself those questions and come from that place. Are there any questions around this element?
Seems good.
Lovely. Nice. So finally, reaping the rewards of more vocal confidence, reaping your harvest. And this third one is doing more, and I've put it in inverted commas, public speaking. The reason that's in inverted commas for me is because I strongly believe that all speaking is public speaking. You're taking your inner thoughts, ideas, opinions, feelings, beliefs, and sharing them with others, whether that is one person, whether that is 3 people in a Zoom room, whether that is 100,000 people on something that goes viral. All speaking is public speaking. So in order to reap the rewards, you need to share more often. Do more public speaking. Just speak more about the things that are important to you, about the things that you need, about whatever it is that you know is true, is important. So, for example, let's take a really practical element here of money. Okay? If you want to make more money, vocal confidence helps with this, because you are more likely to be more visible, again, whether you are employed or self-employed. And one of the best ways to be more visible in order to make more money is to speak more. So if you're self-employed, this is relatively simple. You can do something as simple as more live streams. You can do things like this. You can be a guest speaker on other people's podcasts. You can apply to speak on other people's stages. You can join networking groups and be a guest speaker at networking groups. There are so many ways to put yourself out there. You can talk about what you do in a shoe shop. And I say that specifically because I've done that. I was talking about my business with confidence to the woman in the shoe shop because there were 3 gorgeous pairs of shoes. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can get 1, but the 3, I'm going to need more clients before I buy the 3. And she said, oh, clients, what do you do? And I was speaking about my business with confidence to her. And another lady who was shopping in the shoe shop turned around and went, do you have a business card? Because I think I might need you. So literally do more public speaking.
Oh,
Speak with confidence and you can reap the rewards. You can harvest what you need. If you're employed, and then more public speaking looks like raising your hand in team meetings more often and sharing your thoughts, ideas, opinions. It means putting yourself forward to do presentations more often. And or if your company has a stand at a conference, saying that you will be on the stand and you will talk to the public about whatever your business does. There are so many different ways that you can put yourself forward to speak more publicly. And the rewards of that are more visibility. And the end result of that is very often more money. Let's get practical on this one. So my tools and techniques for that are start looking for the opportunities. And if you get nervous about it, then I have 100,000 different nerve management tools and techniques that I share. Many of them are on my YouTube channel or my Instagram, and my free online course samples that I've got, and my low-end, like £22 Sound Foundations course. It's got tons of nerve management exercises in there. All come to my 2-day workshop at the end of this month, on the 29th and 30th of September. And Susie has also done my 2-day workshop, as has Guy, actually, a long time ago, doesn't it, Guy? You may have done it when it was still a 1-day workshop.
Might have been.
I think you did, actually, yes, because you did it in the old venue, and I only ever did it as a 1-day workshop in the old venue. So there you go.
Fair enough then.
So yes, for tools and techniques for nerve management, for speaking about yourself with confidence, the 2-day workshop is the simplest, best place to get some one-to-one time with me and all my tools and techniques. I will share 3 of them with you now. One of them is breathe. So if you get nervous before you speak, breathe slower. Breathe out through your mouth, in through your nose. Slow your breath, deep, slow breaths. It slows down your heart rate, which slows down the amount of adrenaline pumping through your body, which means that you will feel calmer. Shake your body. So if you're nervous and you're a little bit shaky, shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake your arms, shake your legs, shake your booty, like shimmy your chest. Shake, 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 shake. Like nerves are energy, and energy needs to be released. So it's a really simple way of managing your nerves. And the third thing, so that's one breath one body one. I'm going to give you a brain one because I work with brain, body, breath, and vibration. So a brain one is think again, we come back to what is your higher purpose. Think about the positive impact that you might have on other people who hear you. So basically what that means is take the spotlight off you, because it's not about you, and turn it on the people that when you share your voice may benefit from what you have to say. So we are now at the Q&A time. So does anyone have any questions? And I shall provide some answers. Anything about, and it doesn't have to be about anything I've spoken about now. It can be anything about other ways to harvest rewards from speaking, or any questions about anything, vocal confidence or voice vibration, sounding, any of the work that I do, mindset, whatever that is. This is a free open Q&A time. Hit me with them if you have them. Kezabel, you look like you're getting ready to unmute.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just I just caught the end of what you were saying when I came on. In fact, my phone is a little bit low in. Yeah, I might have to go and plug you in. And you were saying something about to Guy about delegating out or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was definitely my issue in the past. Ironically, just before
Kezabel,
I've got this new tour going, you know, the one woman show and everything, who now are ill or carbonated them. Oh, let me go. I'll go and plug you in.
Thank you. Well, Kezabel's getting her voice back. Any other questions?
Not questions at this point, other than
Or observation?
yes, one with breathing that I've done for a number of years now, because it's one of the counterintuitive ones, I suppose, but it's the only way that I know to actually exercise the diaphragm. So a sets of maybe 10 couple of times a day. You might breathe out as hard as you can by pulling your stomach right in as tight as you can, and then just relax to let the breath rush back in again.
Yep, that is one that I teach.
And that one I have found that after a period of time, you're breathing down in your belly all the time without thinking about it.
Yes, very much so. That's it's very much about that energizing, connecting to diaphragm, to belly, to full lung, as opposed to just half lung, upper lung.
Yeah.
So yeah, the breathing out. Out, 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 out.
Okay.
Until it's really tight.
As I would have done it, it would have been.
And then breathe in. So that is letting it flood in. And that way you're really using the bottom bits of your lungs. And it's really good actually just to get the oxygen flowing to every part of you. Aha, Kezabel is back. Yay.
Plugged in.
Excellent.
I totally agree with you, Guy, the deep breathing. And I know I had particularly testing year. The last year has been particularly testing. And the deep breathing and just putting your hand on your heart and your tummy. And when difficult stuff was coming in, it started doing it automatically. Yes. So I totally get what you were saying.
Yeah,
definitely.
So what was either the point or the question you were coming to around boundaries?
Oh, you're delegating. Yeah, the delegating thing. Yeah. I think for years, I think I'd been let down so many times that I got to a point I just thought, oh, well, I'll just do it myself. You know, and you said it yourself. You said about trust, and so I did take that step, and I did get 3 really good people, one to organise events for me, one doing the tech and everything, and one doing the PR. And my PR lady is still helping me, but it's been poorly, and my tech guy has lost his sight, so he can't do his tech, and so I'm having to start again. in the middle of the tour. So it's been quite challenging, but yeah, I heard you saying about the delegating, and I just latched onto that and thought, yes, that I know
Yeah.
in the past I've not always wanted to do that.
And the rewards that we reap when we delegate are amazing. You know, and yes, we have to build trust, but we need to allow people to build that trust. And that's where really good structures help. So, for example, when I was a DSM, a deputy stage manager in the theatre, one of the things you have is known as the book. And the book is something that is a markup of the script with every lighting cue, every sound cue, every actor's cue, if there's live cues. And that book has to be really clear, because if the DSM is sick, is off, that book, the book, can just be passed to anyone else with the skills to be able to hit the buttons, and they can follow it, and the show won't be destroyed. And there is the magic in in delegation, and it's really tedious to start with. That when you have the really clear structure, and you're like, right, this creates this, boom, then you can move on. And then actually, if it's really clear and in a language that's universal, it could then be handed over to someone else. So another tech guy will understand what the cues are, will understand. If it's been written in a language that's between the two of you, which is why everything has its own language, then there may be confusion. And that's when you then have to have another conversation so that you're aware. And that's where rehearsals come in. And that's where practice. And so, for example, hiring a PA, you know, I do a spreadsheet a certain way, they may do a spreadsheet a different way. It's finding that, not letting that stress you, but still asking for the help to reap the rewards of, my God, my brain has space. That's the biggest reward for me when I delegate to someone. My brain has space.
And also, there's only some things that only you can do. And the other thing others can do, can't they? You know, the debut show in June, I had to do a list of, I'm going to be on, because it's the Little Playhouse Theatre in Northampton was the debut for the first performance of poetry. And I had a gospel singer opening for me. And I went back to the theatre, the very first place I ever performed poetry 14 years ago. I thought, let's go right back to the beginning. But I had to do a list of when I was going to be left stage, right stage, which lights, dimmer lights, sound, film at the back, not film at the back, soundtrack, not soundtrack, and all that. It was a real learning curve.
And this is where I always talk about clarity creates confidence. So when we are clear, it gives us confidence, but it also gives other people confidence. So if you want to, one of the most important things about confidence, and again, I talk about this on the 2-day workshop, is what you really want to do is give your audience confidence. So if we come back to the speaking about yourself with confidence and forgetting the fear of sounding arrogant, what you're doing in that is making your audience more confident. You are gifting them confidence in you. So clarity on, actually, yeah, I'm really good at this, rather than, yeah, I'm good at this. Not so clear. Right? Or I'm quite good at this. I may be able to help you, versus the likelihood is I will be able to help you. Right? Because there are some people who you don't want to work with, and there are some people who you're not going to go, yes, I will definitely be able to help you, because you might not want to work with them, you know, if it's a first conversation. But it's that clarity which then gives them confidence. And once they have confidence, they relax, and then you have the opportunity to then build relationship and go into all the other tools and techniques around speaking. So
I see how this fits well with something I've never liked the idea of fake it till you make it. And I feel very much there that people who are faking it, they know they're lying to themselves, and the audience becomes aware of that, even if they don't think they are.
yes, and There is also, and it's just, there's an exercise I do, which I call fake it till you make it. It's not about being fake. It's about being in the energy you would like to be in. Because actually nerves might sometimes be so big that it really disrupts you. So if you can be in the energy you would like to be in, then you may not be feeling it, but you can carry that, and then you're more likely to create it. So there's a difference between being fake and using tools to, whether that is the clothes you're wearing or the makeup you've got on or your perfume, or imagining that, for me, I don't know, imagining that I had the same grace as Michelle Obama. She's the example I often use. It's like, but what if I had that? So it's not me being fake, but it's me creating the energy I would like to create.
Yes, in many ways, hypnotically, it's taking on a part.
Yes.
And yes, the energies you say of someone else. Frankly, taking on a part of your light shadow that you're not happy to express, but actually what you want to be. Yes.
Yes. So there's all sorts of playfulness we can get here. But yeah, I mean, that's if someone is just, very often what happens if someone is faking it till they make it, then yes, I know what you mean. It's going in with, well, I don't know anything about this, but I'm gonna blag it. I'm gonna brazen it out. But you know what? Sometimes that works for people. So power to them.
I remember there hearing
they get caught out. So Susie, was there anything that you wish to share, ask, or contribute just in the last couple of minutes? You are on mute, my lovely.
What you were saying about talking about what you do, I get people come in my room and they ask me what I do, and I do speak about it confidently. How I help people to center themselves and things like that. And they normally end up booking a session, which normally leads to about 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never thought about it. Yeah, when you say about speaking confidently, because when you're talking about something you're passionate about, you do have that persona about you, don't you, that tells people that that's your passion and you know what you're talking about.
Yes.
So, yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And you may even be what I've seen in some lecturers, the bouncy foot to foot, that they're so enthusiastic to get their information across. And that energy really helps, not least as Freddie Jacquin teaches, that a large part of hypnotherapy is you invoke an emotion, give a suggestion.
Yeah.
Well, if you're already happy because of the teacher, his information just flowing into you.
Yeah. So there's the passion, the purpose, the connection to higher purpose. And but again, that comes back to the positive impact that you either know this will have, or you would like it to have, or you imagine it would have. Again, focusing on that positive impact for others. And that's in the very, very first vocal confidence session I ever did, when I was terrified. And all my imposter family were in me going, oh my God, you're just a 37-year-old failed actress. Who are you to tell a 65-year-old magistrate how to speak to 80 lawyers? They're proper people with proper jobs who make proper money, right? So all of that was going on in my head. But when I worked with him and I just got him to drill down into his fear, which was they'll think it's boring, and B, well, do you find it boring? Well, no, it's really important. Great. Why is it important? And when we drilled down, much like with the guy who was stressed at his work, we had to drill down to find what was underneath it. But with this, it was maritime law arbitration and international shipping law. But when we drilled down to why he found it important, why it was he'd made this his life's work, and we hit the well of passion, So, well, it's important because of this, because if that doesn't happen, then this won't happen. And if that doesn't happen, then this, and then it's a whole disaster. I was like, right, that energy now, go back to the top of your talk. Boom. The change was instantaneous. But what happens is people get caught up in, oh, but what if they'll think it's boring? What if they think it's boring? They're being forced to come. They don't want to hear about it. What if I'm just going to bore them? Because it's in-depth and technical and it's a little piece of, but when you go, oh, no, it's because of this. And actually at his funeral, in the line for the food, someone said to me, oh, how did you know Bruce? And I said, oh, I was the family massage therapist. And actually Bruce was my first client who started me on the work that I do now, which is vocal confidence and communication coaching. And they went, oh, did you work with him on the speech about blah, 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 blah? I went, yes. I wondered what he did differently. Yes, and that had been, 5 years before. So it's incredible what can happen when we connect to what's important and the outcome we're going to have. And on that note, which is a perfect note to end it, I thank you all for being present. I will be here next month, first Monday of the month, 2nd of October, 3 days before my 50th birthday, before I fly off to Namibia.
Wow.
I know. So I will be here. Feel free to come join me on the same link. And we will be discussing, what will we be discussing in October? I can't remember the theme for October. You're going to have to look out for the post and out for yourself. So take care. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for being here. Those who've watched the recording, thank you. Any questions, please do get in touch. And if you want to come to any of the workshops, yourwholevoice.com/events. You'll find them all listed there. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Judy.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers.